and welcome to another fantasy low light. Our guest tonight is the New York Giants offense. This offense is in the middle of a tanking operation by their organization. They've now switched quarterbacks, going to the third string, who's now hurt. Will Drew Lock start? Will that change anything? I don't think so. The one person in this offense, Malik Neighbors, might be the only one you have faith in, but I would not bet on any anytime touchdowns for Malik Neighbors for the rest of the year. He has, in this past game, 6 receptions for 64 yards and complained about the offense. There's conversations that Dayball and Malik Neighbors had a one-on-one individual conversation where Dayball kind of talked about the way he talked about the team, and there is more to be seen there. Tyrone Tracy Jr., one of the biggest waiver wire ads of the year, fumbled for a second straight game. This is what it looks like when a wide receiver plays running back in the NFL for the first time. Theo Johnson, 6 targets, 3 receptions, 6.9 points. Darius Slayton, a big fat 0, just like the 0 they put up on the scoreboard against Tampa Bay. Nimmer, what do you have to say for this offense?
I mean, like you said, they're tanking for that number one pick. Either they're gonna be trading for draft picks or um, just just revamping their whole offense. I think that this is the first time where a team hasn't scored in the NFL this season, right?
Well, I have no idea.
I,
Probably. That
I,
sounds like it's right.
yeah, I think that they've at least scored a field goal. So the fact that you can't even score a field goal on your offense. Like you guys can't get past the 40-yard line to make a field goal is pathetic. And you guys had a Hard Knocks, so everybody in the world that has watched that knows your organization. Good luck for you guys might be doing your travel plans already, and it's going to be interesting what you guys do for the draft. But your season is over.
And I will say on this show before the season started, we shared our concerns with drafting Malik Neighbors. And this was the exact reason why, because of the quarterback situation. And now Daniel Jones is off to a new team, a more winning team. I'm sure he's much happier today than he was yesterday. Blowing a candle out on this terrible offense. Thank you, Giants, for joining us in this fantasy low light. Ooh, let the smoke build.
The
This is the
ambiance.
Giants. This is the Giants right here.
Jeez,
You're a
just a dumpster
burning
fire.
trash fire.
Gosh.
But anyways, welcome to the Do Not Disturb Football Podcast. We did our fantasy highlight yesterday. We started the show today with another fantasy low light. If you guys like that, let us know in the comments. We're going to keep today's show short and simple. We know that you guys are all waiting for the holiday tomorrow. Some of you guys may have thrown a couple beers down or maybe a drink or two on Thanksgiving Eve. So join us. It'll be a good time. We'll make you laugh a little bit. Nimmer, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Well, like you said, Thanksgiving Eve. I'm excited for me and my family. Usually do like a football game right before, so it's you. This is the only time of the year where I get to relive the glory days, as they like to say. So yeah, it's good. I'm just kind of upset because every year, almost every year, we like to go Black Friday shopping, but it's like now my aunts were like kind of asking if we're gonna go Black Friday shopping and whatnot. And I'm like, what's the point? Like, it's not even fun anymore. It's like before there'd be deals, there'd be you'd go to sort of store, all that type of stuff. But now it's just everything is either online, and the deals don't just last one day; it lasts pretty much the whole month. So um, that's kind of upsetting. But yeah, I'm excited to just see family and um, enjoy Thanksgiving.
Is Thanksgiving a top three holiday in your opinion?
No,
No.
definitely not.
Which ones would you rank above it?
Well, definitely Christmas.
Yeah.
Uh, I would say Fourth of July.
Hmm.
Fourth of July is probably second, and then probably New Year's.
Hmm.
That'd be my top three. Would you?
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's top three.
Hmm.
I think it's top three. Just because all the things going on. Food, love food. Football's on. That's like the bigger holiday where you get to watch football going on. I guess Christmas they have football too now, but um,
Family. The three
and the
F's.
family,
Yeah.
three Fs. Yeah,
The reason I said no is just because I guess this is a bad way to kind of look at it, but it's like I feel like Thanksgiving is just kind of it's starting to get overlooked a lot. Like now, like there's Christmas decorations that are being put up, and like
that's true.
before we would wait till Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's over. All right, now that the upcoming weekend we can put up the Christmas lights. But now you're driving down the street and there's Christmas lights everywhere. All the stores are selling it. It's like one of those holidays where it's like, all right, cool, we get to see family for a day, and then let's go and go to Christmas. Um, but I would put like Thanksgiving probably like fourth. I would say fourth, maybe fifth behind Easter, but I don't really celebrate Easter like that anymore. So
Mhm.
I think as a kid Easter was amazing, but as a I don't know. But yeah, I'll probably put Thanksgiving five.
Nice.
But I like Thanksgiving, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the new injuries that happened today. Just a short little list, really. You have Darnell Mooney for the Falcons. He is dealing with an Achilles injury that was kind of an eye-opening injury that I saw pop up on the injury report today. He's questionable, so doesn't sound like it's too serious. Hopefully, Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid for the Bills. They're both questionable heading into the weekend. Um, Dalton Kincaid has that PCL injury, and Keon Coleman has a wrist injury he's been dealing with. Alec Pierce for the Colts. He is questionable with a foot injury. Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. He is still questionable with that shoulder AC joint injury, but I think they're planning on playing him. The Raiders wide receiver, Trey Tucker, he is questionable with a hip injury. Chargers, Will Dissly, he is questionable with a knee injury. And also J.K. Dobbins, he is doubtful. I've heard on a couple of different social media outlets that he's probably out this weekend.
Wow.
Brees Hall for the Jets, that this was another injury that popped up that I saw today. I thought was pretty interesting. He has a knee injury. He is questionable. They're saying it's soreness, but I've heard rumblings that he's been dealing with this since before the bye week. So pretty interesting injury there that I would pay attention to if I'm owning Brees Hall in one of my fantasy teams. DK Metcalf, he is questionable with a shoulder injury. And then Calvin Ridley for the Titans, he is questionable with an ankle injury.
Hey, did you see that interview that Fred Warner did about his injury?
So I didn't know this. I just read that today that he's been playing with a fractured ankle for 9 straight weeks.
Yeah,
This will be the 9th straight week.
it's crazy.
I didn't see that until today. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I mean I just saw it just popped up on my For You page and it was like his interview. He's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't say this, but I've been dealing with the fractured ankle since week 4, since we played the
I
Broncos.
don't even know how the hell he's playing on that.
He's like, yeah, I usually do like a shot right before, and this is just
Wow.
normal mid-year type of thing. Nobody's healthy. And I was like, bro, you have a fractured ankle. What are you talking about?
That's crazy.
He's a beast. Best linebacker in football right now. Insane.
Yeah,
No doubt.
definitely. I can't believe he's playing with that.
Insane. He's. Yeah. I want to get
If
his
they
autograph.
if they drop a couple more games, maybe let's sit it out, Fred.
Yeah, seriously. Like, what are you doing? He's young. He's not. He's not old, but he's not young either. Like, he's
Yeah,
not too old. Where I don't know. It's crazy.
he's playing linebacker though. That's like a high collision, and you're like always moving side to side, pushing off your ankles.
Yeah, and he, like I said, he's the best linebacker. So he's in every single play. Every single play you see number 54 on the Niners. It's insane, and he's doing that off a fractured ankle. It's crazy.
That is crazy. But let's get into our first topic, Justin Jefferson. Is there any concern from Justin Jefferson? He had this past game against Chicago going up against a pretty good pass defense. He had 5 targets, 2 receptions, 27 yards, 0 touchdowns. He scored, I think, 4.7 points. Do you have any concern for Justin Jefferson at this point in the fantasy season?
Yeah, I feel like I've always kind of had concerns. Number one, in the beginning of the season, it was like, well, we don't know his quarterback situation, and he also is the only person that they really have to guard. Now, but now since Jordan Addison popped off and they ended up winning and went over for 100 points, defenses might have to go zone where they're not. All right, let's we shut down Jefferson, then other and wait have other people be this. That's fine. They can't really do that anymore, especially with Hawkinson back into the lineup. So I don't think it's that big
He had
of
a
a
pretty
concern.
he had a pretty decent game too.
Hawkinson, yeah. If you picked him up because that was a lot of people's draft and they just put him on IR, that was a good pickup because especially the way that tight ends are looking, that was a really good pickup. But I wouldn't be too concerned. I wouldn't drop him or try to maybe trade him away or anything like that. He's still top 10 receiver in the league right now. But I don't know. It is an eye opener where you're like, all right, is all the teams gonna do this, and then just have Jordan Addison kind of try to beat us, or how our defense is going to um, defend against the Vikings.
Yeah. I am a little concerned about Justin Jefferson, and he's on my fantasy team, so that's great for me. But I'm I am a little concerned about him. His playoff schedule is really tough. He has Chicago first round, which they just played, and he had his worst game of the season. Seattle, the second round, which they're 19th against the pass right now in the league, but I really like their corners, Tyreek Woolen and Devin Witherspoon. So that could be a tougher matchup. And round 3, the championship, that would be against Green Bay and Jair Alexander, who's had some really good games against Justin Jefferson in the past. So I am a little concerned about him going forward. Really, anybody that owns Justin Jefferson, you're kind of stuck with him. You took him in the first round, so you're kind of stuck with him. I mean, you probably could trade him for something big, but you're probably not going to get, what you want in return. It'll be interesting to see moving forward how the offense works. I like having TJ there, though. I think that kind of opens up the field for Justin Jefferson, and if Jordan Addison is getting targets like that, I said yesterday, I think he's going to be a pretty big sleeper towards the end of this year because I think Sam Darnold he's just looking kind of shaky. He doesn't look super confident. I know the first couple of weeks he was really balling out, but ever since it's kind of been looking like teams are containing him, and he's starting to lose confidence in his ability, and the fact that they brought in Daniel Jones today, I think could put even more pressure on him. It'll be interesting to see moving forward.
Yeah. Would you feel more confident with Justin Jefferson in your lineup if Daniel Jones was your quarterback?
No, I feel about the same.
Hmm.
I feel about the same. I don't really know who's better between Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, to be honest.
Wow.
I think they're pretty close.
Interesting. hard to tell Daniel Jones because he doesn't have as good. Like he's never really had a number one receiver. So,
Yeah, he runs a lot more too. That's kind of
mhm.
yeah. I might feel a little worse with Daniel Jones
Yeah, I was gonna say.
because he takes off and runs a little more than Sam Darnold does.
Yeah.
What about DJ Moore? DJ Moore had 7 targets, 7 receptions, 106 yards, 1 touchdown, 26.9 points. Just 2 weeks ago, he was on our fantasy low light. Not really him, but the whole team. But can you trust him moving forward?
I think so. I think you can trust him and put him in your flex. I was the one that had been dot, begging Darian to trade me for him, but was doing Darian stuff and wanted too much. And I hope you're watching Darian, but yeah, I think you can trust him. I think that you can put him into the lineup. Maybe not this week. This week might be a little tough against the Lions. But I think going forward, you probably can trust him to get at least 5 targets, 6 targets, especially with all the news that with the Bears saying that they might, like a lot of the veterans. Rumor has it that a lot of the veterans want Caleb Williams to sit, and I guarantee the person that walked off the field mid-play while Caleb Williams was scrambling was probably the leader of that room or leader of that. So Caleb Williams probably is going to try to feed him the ball. Plus, you have a Doomsday, which actually is pretty good, but hasn't really seen a lot of targets, especially in this last game. And then Keenan Allen, who is kind of a boomer bust type of candidate. So in that offense, that's probably the most consistent, reliable person in that offense. And once Caleb gets his act together and actually becomes a NFL quarterback, he will. I feel like he's gonna look forward DJ Moore a lot more.
Yeah, I like DJ Moore going forward. I think he's going to be a good player to have on your team in fantasy for this last part of the year. What I really like about him is they've started lining him up in the backfield, and he's been getting 1 or 2 carries a game, but they do a lot of like swing passes to him out of the backfield and things like that, which I think is great. And I wonder, is that because DeAndre Swift is dealing with an injury that's more serious than we know, or is it they want to just get DJ involved more? I think they do want to get DJ more involved. So I really like DJ Moore going forward. 7 targets, catching every single one of those targets this past game. That's a really good sign for him. It seems like they want to get him involved early in the game rather than later. And really, it just comes down to the limitations of Caleb Williams. If Caleb Williams has a bad game, then everybody on the offense is going to have a bad game. So that's going to be kind of the hard thing to predict. But it seems like for right now, DJ Moore is the focal point of that offense. You could argue DeAndre Swift too, but I feel a little more confident in DJ right now.
Yeah, definitely. It's about time, to be honest.
Yeah,
And Darian probably can attest for that, or it's about time that he actually starts performing.
definitely. It's been such a weird career for him because I feel like he's been good for so long, and they feel it too because they just paid him this
Mm-hmm.
upcoming year like a 5-year contract. So I know they see the talent. It's just for whatever reason, it's been a really hard time getting him the ball.
Yeah. Do you think next year people are going to draft him as
They
high as they
should.
did this year?
I think they should.
Yeah.
He'll probably be, I mean, in terms of the wide receiver twos next year, he should be one of the first ones coming off the board. He's probably not going to be your wide receiver one, I would hope.
Yeah, seriously.
I would hope you get someone solid and then DJ Moore to back him up.
Yeah.
But my next question, this is a little bit of a controversial topic. I want to ask you, Nimmer, what are your thoughts on this? Has Jackson Smith and Jigba overtaken DK Metcalf's fantasy value. They are on the same team. Jackson Smith and Jigba over the past 3 games has had 13 targets, 11 targets, 7 targets. In the past 2 games for DK, it's been 5 and 9 targets.
I think it's just hard because DK is kind of hurt, and I don't want to go off, injury and make that an excuse. But I think what it's gonna become is it's gonna be like a 1A 1B. I think that Jackson Smith is the wide receiver 8 right now. He has this whole season. He's had 3 games under 10 points. 2 of them were in the beginning of the season. But I think that him and Geno Smith are really starting to connect a lot. And with DK's injury, I think that it's DK's probably going to be more of a vertical type of receiver where he's going to be catching the long balls. He's going to be catching maybe those posts, or even just those outs. And you need that 10 yards, that 3rd and 5. You're going to go to DK. But I feel like Njigma is going to do exactly what the Bucks did with Godwin, where they're going to put him in a slot. He's more the shifty, speedy type of receiver, and so I don't think he is taking over DK's role, but I think he is going to he is it's just 1A 1B now instead of wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've noticed from watching the Seahawks this season, when DK wasn't in there for, I think it was 2 games, the offense didn't look the same. And when DK came back, it seemed like the offense kind of depends on DK to get it moving. So that says something. I think DK, you should still have confidence in DK. But JSN, I think, they're using him in a, kind of like you said, in the slot and doing like a lot of quick routes for him. But they're also using him in like the screen game. They've been drawing up a lot of like wide receiver screens for him, which has been really, really good for him. That's not something I've really seen DK do. I'm sure he's caught a wide receiver screen before, but it's not really something I remember him doing. I know that JSN has been really taken off once he gets those screens. So I think that's where his value is going to be. I really like him moving forward towards the end of the year here. I think he may be the biggest sleeper in the draft from this past year's draft. He was kind of came on late, but the amount of points he's been putting up, he had 37 points a couple games back, 21 points and 20 points. That's his 3-game span right now. So he is on a absolute heater, 23 receptions in the past 3 games. So he's looking really good.
Do you know what team is he on? Like in our fantasy league?
Austin.
Oh, all right, never mind.
That factored into him beating my ass this week.
Yeah, he got drafted 98th. I wonder.
I think it was like his 4th or 5th round pick, maybe 6th round. He drafted him fairly early.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, it's interesting.
Just because he likes the name.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he drafted him.
You're looking at that. You're like, God damn it! The fucking Austin got so lucky. Just because he liked the name, he ended up getting Jackson Smith.
I mean, I was thinking about drafting JSN during the draft,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember when he took him off the board, he took him like probably 2 rounds before that I would. But yeah, I remember thinking, man, that might be a pretty good player this year.
Just one more win, Austin. One more win. We need you. One more win. One more win.
I want you to beat Quaz.
Yeah, and if Darian too, if Darian has to do the beer mile, oh my god, that'd be amazing.
All right, let's get into our against the spread. So we have a lot of really cool matchups coming up this week. Not too many in the Thanksgiving department, but this Sunday looks like it's going to shape out to be pretty good. You have a Black Friday game this week, the Chiefs and the Raiders. You have the Dolphins and the Packers on Thanksgiving night. I think that's the primetime game. So that should be a pretty good game. But let's get started here. Bears at Lions. The Lions are favored by 11.5. Nimmer, who do you have covering here?
Give me the best team in football right now, the Lions. They don't play with their food. They win games. They kill the teams that they're supposed to kill. Give me the Lions.
And I'm going to go the Bears just because I think the Bears, have they played the Lions yet?
Not yet.
Oh, they haven't played them yet. That makes me want to change my pick. No, I'm gonna go with the Bears. I'm gonna say that's too many points. I know the Lions have been covering pretty well, even with these kind of spreads. But I'm gonna say the defense for the Bears gives Goff a couple of problems, and it'll be closer than over 11 points. That's a lot of points. The Giants at the Cowboys in Jerry World on Thanksgiving. Remember, who do you have covering?
This is the Cowboys holiday, and the Giants are tanking. So give me the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think Cooper Rush isn't great, but with the way that defense played last week, I think they're really going to eat on whoever it is, Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito. So give me the Cowboys. The Dolphins at the Packers in Lambeau, Thanksgiving night, tomorrow night. Nimmer, who do you have covering? The Packers are favored by 3.5 points.
The Dolphins have been hearing that they can't play in the cold and all this other type of stuff. So I think that they're going to come back with vengeance. And I think the Dolphins, this is their time. It's either now or never to make that playoff push. And I think they at least cover.
Yeah, I really went back and forth on this one today. I kind of feel like the Dolphins might win this game. But the Packers, with the 8-3 record, they are like moving as silent as you can in the NFL right now. I'm going to just say they cover just because they have such a good record, but I don't feel great about it. I feel like the Dolphins might win that game.
They did look good against the Niners, though. So that isn't a bad pick. But
the Raiders at the Chiefs. I thought this was interesting. 61% of the public is on the Raiders covering 13.5 points. So, Nimmer, who do you got covering?
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs have just been getting by each and every game. I think that it's the same with the Raiders. I think that 13.5 is a lot, even for the Raiders. So give me the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm taking the Raiders too. Chiefs can't cover. I know that Mahomes wants a blot, but Aiden O'Connell's coming back, they're saying, for this game. So it timed out perfectly that Minshew got hurt, and now Aiden O'Connell's back, and now they're not playing with Desmond Ridder. If it was Desmond Ridder, I think I'd be pretty nervous about the game. But yeah. I feel a little better with Aiden O'Connell.
I don't know. Last time they played the Chiefs the second time, remember he only completed like 4 passes in the second half? Remember that game? It was awful. So
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, it's tough. But Desmond Ridder, I mean,
yeah, don't get me wrong.
That guy may have completed 4 passes his entire career. Chargers at the Falcons. The Chargers are favored by 1.5 points. Who do you have covered?
So I think Lombardi on the Pat McAfee show said that he really likes the Chargers because they're more physical. When Falcons don't know what to do with physical teams, and the Chargers are a very physical team, so give me the Chargers.
Yeah, I think that's a good take. I like the Chargers in this matchup. Steelers at the Bengals.
It's gonna be an interesting game. I'm super nervous about this one as well. Bengals coming off a bye. Bengals, but I do have a question. Why are we not? Why are we a underdog?
Yeah, I don't know.
That the way I mean, I guess the way that we played the Browns, maybe. But I mean, the Bengals, like it's crazy. I just don't get the spread, but I'm very nervous about this game. Very very nervous.
I think it's gonna be an interesting game. Probably the game I'll probably pay attention to the most this
Mhm.
weekend.
In the morning games for Sunday.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Steelers. They're gonna have to score a touchdown or two. That's gonna
Yeah.
be a must in this game, though.
And stop the Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I think honestly, if they started winning games, people would start talking them about them a lot more about that offense. That they're a very very sneaky offense, but they just have not been playing winning games, and nobody's really been talking about them. So,
Yeah,
um, so
Arizona going up against the Vikings in Minnesota. The Vikings are favored by 3.5 points. What are your thoughts?
I think the Vikings defense is just too much. Their run defense is really good, and then the Cardinals. We kind of saw it last game where they can't really do anything if they don't know how to run. So, and I think James Conner might be questionable, or he got 5 carries last game, so that doesn't make me feel better. So give me the Vikes.
Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings too. Kind of feels like this could be kind of like a slappy game where there's turnover after turnover, but yeah, I think the Vikings are gonna get to Kyler Murray a lot. Colts at the Patriots. Indianapolis is favored by 2.5 points.
This is a very interesting game because I feel like the Patriots defense isn't as bad as people think, and then I think they are. I don't know, but I like the Colts. I think the Colts with Anthony Richardson. Um, I don't know. I really like the Colts.
Yeah, Richardson, he didn't have like a stellar game against the Lions, but he looks like he's improved since the benching. So I'm going to take the Colts. I'm expecting a big rushing performance out of Anthony Richardson.
Hmm. Hopefully not, because you're playing him this week. You
Yeah,
just traded him. It would be insane.
yeah.
Oh, Logan was waiting for this. The path by 50. Honestly,
Yeah,
Logan, I don't know if you know like Boston Connor. He's a big Patriots fan, and I kind of feel like a lot of the Patriot fans should be the same way, where they should start trying to tank and trying to lose a lot of games, so then you can get a better pick. Because obviously you guys aren't going to the Super Bowl, so you guys just look for the next year's draft and then get a higher pick and improve your team that way.
yeah. Is Darren starting him? Let me
I
see.
don't know who's his other quarterback.
Baker.
Oh no, he's probably
He's starting
starting
Baker at
Baker.
Carolina.
Yeah, he has to.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do kind of feel like Richardson's going to pop off.
Hmm.
He might be my fantasy MVP. I don't think we did that this week, but
No, we didn't.
I'll say that's my fantasy MVP.
Mine is Joe Mixon,
Nixon. Who are they going up against?
Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. That's a good call.
Hmm. And of course, I'm playing him this week, so you know he's gonna drop out
Oh, there you
40
go.
or 50. Let's
No,
make
he'll
it
be the
four.
top
Let's make
one.
it four fucking weeks in a row. Okay, let's do it. Fuck it.
That'd be interesting.
I would lose it. Honestly, a blood vessel in my head would just explode.
Seattle at the Jets. Y'all know who I'm picking.
Yeah. I'm picking the
Seattle.
opposite. I think Jets coming off a bye, it might be a new Aaron Rodgers. You never know.
Okay. Yep. I've been waiting for that new Aaron Rodgers all year. But I'm going Seattle. I think I'm done picking Jets at all for the rest of the year. Titans at Commanders. Commanders are favored by 5.5 points. I feel like that's kind of a bigger line than it should be. But remember, who do you think covers?
Yeah, I think the Commanders are just going to are like they kind of off that devastating win. I think they come back. It's at home. Titans are coming off that high. They're thinking that, oh, now we're a good team, and then the Commanders come out and at least cover. I like the Commanders in this game.
Give me the Commanders. I'm a little scared about the line, but
No,
I'm going to take the Commanders. Like
I
you said.
just can't trust the Titans.
Yeah. Will Levis he throws so many pick sixes, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't just gone with Mason.
Seriously. I mean, it's because of the whole future thing. Like, this is the quarterback we drafted. We saw his potential last year. Just got
Mason wasn't great, but it felt like it was going a lot better than Will Levis. I mean, I guess they just beat the Texans, though.
I was gonna say, I mean, but I don't know. He can't be playing like this if they really want to win.
Yeah, he's done. I think he's going to be a career backup, maybe even a third string.
Yeah.
The Texans 7-5 at the Jaguars 2-9.
This is another interesting spread. It's interesting that it's 4.5. But I mean, give me the Texans. I think Joe Mixon's gonna ball out. They just got Collins. They're starting to get Collins more into the rotation and getting them all healthy and stuff. So give me the Texans.
Yeah, the Texans have been having a lot of issues on their offensive line. But if it was anybody else other than the Jaguars, I think I might pick that other team. But since it's the Jaguars, I'm going to go with the Texans to cover here. Rams at the New Orleans Saints. The Rams are favored by 2.5 points.
Give me the Rams. I think that the Saints are still in that rebuilding, new head coach. I just don't trust them yet.
Yeah, I'm going to go Rams here too. With Marshawn Lattimore not there anymore, I think the passing is going to be open for them. Buccaneers at the Carolina Panthers. Bucks are favored by 5.5 points. 81% of the public is on the Buccaneers.
Me too. Make that 82%. No way I'm picking it. Panthers look good though, but I don't know. I like Baker.
Yeah, the Bucks are I feel like one of the sneakier teams in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't make it to the playoffs, I think there's a chance they're going to ruin a lot of playoff dreams for other teams.
Definitely, I can see that.
Eagles at the Ravens. This is probably going to be one of the most watched games. This will be in that 425 window. So I guess it would have to land in your local TV zone for you to watch it. But very, very interesting matchup. The Ravens are favored by 2.5 points. Who do you think covers here?
So, like you said, I think this is going to be the game of the week. It's crazy that this isn't even a primetime game. But, like, the Browns and the Broncos, come on. I mean, I guess the Eagles and the Ravens both did primetime this past week, but I don't know. Anyway, I think that both offenses are amazing, but what I'm looking at is more the defense. And I think the Eagles have a better defense than the Ravens. I think that the Ravens are going to try to shut down Saquon, and so I think A.J. Brown is going to have a massive game as well. But, yeah, give me the Eagles. It's going to be interesting seeing Derrick Henry and Saquon. Like, that's going to be cool. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles here too. I think they're going to upset the Ravens here. I like they seem like a much more consistent team. The Eagles do than the Ravens do, and I know they just won against the Chargers, but to me, this offensive firepower is just too much for the Ravens to handle. The Niners at the Bills in Buffalo. Who do you have covering here?
Do we
Six and a
know?
half point spread.
Do we know if Purdy's playing?
They're
Was it on
saying
the in the injury report? Or?
he's still questionable, but I saw on Monday Schefter said that all signs are pointing that he's going to play.
I mean, I still like the Bills. And I think the Bills just came off a bye too, right?
Yeah,
So I like the coming off a bye. Niners are all banged up. Give me the Bills.
I'm going to take the Niners here. I think I took them last week. Oh no, I changed my pick right before the game because
Oh,
I saw Purdy wasn't
smart.
going to play. Um, but yeah, I'm going to take the Niners. They're in desperation mode, so I think they'll keep it close. Juwan Jennings, I'm expecting a big game out of. I'm hoping. The Browns at the Broncos. Broncos are favored by 5.5 points.
Give me the Broncos. This line should be a lot more, but because how the Browns played the Steelers last week, I think that's why the line's a little lower. But I really like how the Broncos are playing, and the Browns are still ass. So I hope, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping Bo can get into the end zone. He's been doing well in that department, but hasn't really been playing a lot of defenses like the Browns as of late. So I'm going to say Broncos cover here. I think it'll be a pretty low scoring game, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. Let's just see how many sacks the defensive player of the year gets.
I think the Broncos are like third or something in the league in sacks allowed.
Yeah. So let's see how many sacks you get since the defensive player has to go through you. Yeah. So
But why don't we come up with a lock here? We were talking about it before the show. I think for an unders parlay, I think you could pair these games together. The Jets and the Seahawks, their point spread or their point total was 42.5 points. I'm going to say that's an unders game. I think that both those defenses are playing well enough to cause issues for both offenses. Colts versus the Patriots, 42.5 points. That's kind of a strange game. Maybe you want to keep this one off your parlay, but if you want more money, maybe throw this one on there. I'll say that's a unders game. Steelers versus the Bengals, 47.5 points. I think that's too many points. So I'm going to take the under on that. And the Broncos, Browns, I just said that's going to be a low scoring game. I think if I had to guess what the total amount of points in that game will be, I'll say 28 points.
yeah, I'd be shocked if the Browns even score.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Nick
I
Chubb
like
could
that
score,
parlay.
maybe.
Oh, I guess. But I mean, your
Well,
guys' defense looks really good. So.
or Njoku, he could score too. Broncos have a hard time against tight ends.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's going to be interesting. But I like that parlay. Yeah, we kind of cooked that up before the show. So, and then do you want to name two people that are going to score?
Anytime touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
So I like AJ Brown and Joe Mixon. Those are my two.
AJ Brown, Joe Mixon. I like those. I'll say Justin Jefferson has a bounce back. He scores against the Cardinals. And I'll say Jalen Waddle scores another touchdown for the Dolphins.
Wow.
So there you go. There's our anytime touchdowns. That'll probably get you a lot of money if it hits.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Let me write that down so if it does hit, we can
Yeah.
take track of it. Watch it all. Watch
That
none of them
would
score
be-
touchdown. So we got
No, you gotta have
Jalen
faith.
Waddle. We have AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson, and Mixon. So we will see if that one hits this week.
It will.
And
I
I
have
feel
confidence.
I feel pretty good about the unders. So,
Mhm.
but any message from you before we get out of here, Nim?
Nope. I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and enjoy your time with your family and enjoy the football. It's not going to be around all year, so enjoy the 3 F's. As Drew said, family, food, and football. Those are the 3 F's, three big things of Thanksgiving. So I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week.
Definitely love this weekend. Make sure you're telling your family members you love them. It is such a nice time if you get to go home and see a bunch of family members. That's a blessing. So have a great holiday. We will be back next week. Hopefully Darian will be back as well. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.